Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Train Simulator Classic, aka Railworks. And today we're going to be taking a look at another product from Caledonia Works. Something a little more my era. Um, I love this era of railroading. It's weird, true, freaky, and wild. And locomotive development is still very much in full swing. But these are the GWR 3031s, or Dean Singles, uh, otherwise known as the Achilles class. They were developed by the GWR between 1891 and 1899, designed by William Dean for passenger work, as one can imagine by that one singular large set of drive wheels. Total of 50 were produced. All were scrapped with one singular non-operating example being reproduced, which we do have down. Oh, we got a bush in the way. But down here, there's a static example. The static example was built in the early 1980s. So unfortunate that there's not an operational survivor, but neat enough that at least a replica was built, even if it's not functional, to be able to see what these locomotives are like up close, because there's not a whole lot from this time period that survives today. It's a very odd era, especially for these big singles like this. These single drivered locomotives are a real odd sight to see in preservation anywhere in the world, and much less in operation. So it's very neat to see at least a static example to survive. Do. Anywho's, so let's get up close. Now, in the pack, you're going to get 3 different functional locomotives, as well as the static variant down there, which we'll go over as well. But you're going to get the as-built from up until, 1905, I believe. And then you're going to get 1905 to 1911-ish. And then 1911 through 1916-ish, somewhere in that time period. I really should have wrote down the different eras. Really, the big noticeable difference is just going to be the paint. The paint scheme changes through the years, but the locomotives themselves remain relatively untouched. Truth be told, I haven't really noticed any wild differences between any of these, so I'm not gonna operate all of them. There's no point. The sounds are all the same. They function all the same. So we do have a set over here, which will be our test dummy. There are quick drive consists available for this locomotive. You will need the GWR. I believe these are the 2-axle passenger coaches from Caledonia Works as well. But I'd pick these up anyway if you don't have the locomotive, or if you have the locomotive, or plan on getting the locomotive, just because they match the era perfectly. So, but anywho, not the focus of today. Now, I do believe this is this is an older pack from Caledonia Works. I don't believe it's up to their current standards. That being said, it's still darn good looking model overall. Uh, it does have modeled valve gear and drive rods and whatnot inside, which, as you can see, is near impossible to see. But it is neat that it is modeled, at least. So if you turn your shaders off, your shadows and such, it might stand out, but with the shadows you really can't see anything. But yeah, the detail looks pretty darn good. I definitely think their texturing has improved over the years, because their current models, the texturing looks really, really good, and you can definitely see the difference between this and their newer models. So that's not to say the texturing is bad here, but it's definitely noticeably better on their newer models. It just seems crisper and far more realistic. But these look pretty good. Yeah, logo looks really cool. Now the coal load, I'm not particularly fond of. Compared to the rest of the locomotive, it does not look particularly great. It's one of those things that kind of stands out as low-res, blurry blobs. But, whatever. These do have a tender scoop, which is modeled. The brake rigging is modeled, which is nice. I mean, overall, it is a darn good looking model. Firebox rivets are modeled. Very, very nice. The builder's plate here is alright. Not great. Logos are nice. The nameplate is really nice. Texturing's a little bit blurry whenever you get up close to it, but not very noticeable. It's just a good looking locomotive overall. And of course we move on to our next era, which is, to my knowledge, there are no differences between these locomotives other than the paint scheme. Well, that's interesting. Huh, disappearing buffers. Anyway, the big difference here being it's still green, but it retains the gold lines. However, the red has been repainted into black, or I guess burgundy, rust colored, whatever you want to call that, but I'm a dude that's red. Red is red. Red and red. But the red has been repainted to black, and but it still retains the gold lines around everything, so actually gives it a really, really nice look overall. What really would have sealed the deal is if they had done gold striping along the driver here as well. Dang, it would have been a good looking. And then the last era, which is just green and black, it gets rid of all the pinstriping. Simple GWR paint scheme. And of course we hop up here to the static model, which doesn't have steam or anything emitting from it. Which, I mean, is pretty cool, honestly. It's nice to include it. 3041 The Queen. So let's run it. Oogity boogity boogity. Hop into the cab here. Now again, this is an older model from them, so it's not as interactive. Like, we don't have opening windows, don't have opening and closing doors. The water taps back here are not functional. The brake is not functional. Water scoop is. Of course, we got our reverser, which does have a reverse lock. It doesn't show the hand, but if you click on the reverser lock, it does lock and unlock. There we go. We got cylinder cocks, firebox, half cover there. Blower. Injector live, injector exhaust, train brake, primary and secondary whistles, and that's it. I mean, it's not a wildly complicated locomotive. There's not a whole lot going on with it. It's not a whole lot to be going on with it. I mean, it's pretty simple. Now, the recommended fire weight is between 455 and 475 pounds. Build that up a little bit here. Set up our tracks. And we can get out of here. Oh, goodness. Primary whistle. Secondary whistle is not as good as primary whistle, I don't think. It is kind of entertaining that if you do not shut off the fireman, it will continue to make the shoveling coal sound even though you've closed the firebox. Oh, it's all wide. See what happens. Chuff sounds are pretty decent. Does seem to run pretty smooth. It's really hard to see down in there. It's hard to see the modeled pistons and such, but they are in there. They are spinning. They are moving. Control 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll control your headlight combination. Control space will play a different tune whistle. It looks and it runs pretty darn good. I mean, it's hard to go wrong. It's a very simple locomotive. There's not a whole lot going on with it. It's not a whole lot to do. I mean, maintain your fire level and maintain your boiler level, and you're good to go. It's a very leggy locomotive. It's built to run. Built to go fast, and it does it pretty easily. I mean, now it's not a powerhouse. That one single driver, you're not going to be pulling much more than what I've got right here. This is, again, one of the consists that is made for the locomotive. It's already set up for the locomotive, and if you hit a hill or whatnot, you're going to lose some speed. That is just the nature of these big single-drivered locomotives. That is how it goes. Start getting some brakes on here. Yeah, we're probably gonna sail right on through this platform. Oh well, can't say I didn't try. Oh yeah, sailed right on through it. I did try. Oh well. Sounds are really nice. I really do like the sounds. And the physics are quite nice. I mean, there's really nothing bad to say to this locomotive. It's, again, it is one of their older packs, but that does make it a little bit cheaper, which is nice. And like I said earlier, you can definitely see a difference in their texturing work compared to their newest products, but it's not wildly noticeable, and it still doesn't look bad by any means necessary. So there's really nothing to criticize here. I mean, it's a simple locomotive. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot to do. There's not a lot to play with, which in turn makes it simple to run. Pretty fun. So that is it for this video today. So link in the description on where you can pick these up. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.